Hello everyone. Today I thought I'd make a video about internally wiring a pair of handlebars. Currently on this bike right now I have a 12-inch ape hangers that I'm changing to 14, so I thought while I was doing this I would post a video showing how I do the internal wiring. Maybe it could help somebody out. I'm not covering anything to do with cables or any of that, just gonna touch base on the wiring. So I've got it tore down this far. I'm to the point where I need to pull out the wires, so I'm going to have to take the ends off and go from there. Okay, I've removed the socket from the left side already. Now you can see the pins. I'll go ahead and take this one off. The first thing I should say is when I first put these bars on, I bought a wiring kit without the pins crimped on. It makes it much easier because you can get this soldered, put together, and pulled down without having to fight the pins through the handlebars. But in this case, they're already on, so that's what we're going to have to deal with. The other thing is make sure you get a kit that's plenty long, because you can't have too much wire. If you got 6 inches extra wire up in here and you got to loop it around and zip tie it, it's not going to hurt a thing. And if you want to put longer bars on, you're good to go. And if you don't, it's not going to hurt anything. And it's a lot easier to work with than wires that are too short. So I'll go ahead and pull this. This is the right side handlebar.
Hold still. There you go.
Okay. Now, I use the forceps, the old broach clip, and you can see the 2 holes down in there.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta grab that and pull. It snaps and that pulls forward and unlocks it. Then, excuse me. There's 2 clips. You can just pry them and get this piece to come loose. I'm going to go ahead and take this tape off, and then I'll have more wire to work with and make it easier. The other thing I should mention is before you take any of this apart, make yourself a diagram showing how these go back in. It's going to make your life a lot easier. I went ahead and did that. Like here's the right side looking into the plug as such. And these are the appropriate wire colors. Same with the twist grip sensor, which we'll have to take apart also. I've already done the left side, and I have a diagram of that. These pin numbers match the pins that are in the wiring diagrams in the service manual, and then I'll go ahead and stick this in my service manual, which I didn't do last time, but now I'll have it, and I won't have to draw it up again. Hopefully I won't take this apart again, but you never know. So anyway, I freed up some extra wiring space. You can slide that up and out of the way. Then I made my own tool. I found the biggest needle I could get that would still fit in the tiny little holes next to the pins in there. And I cut the actual pointed tip off and just made it a blunt end. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little hole next to the pin. Can you see that?
Yep. As long as you hold it still.
Yeah, sorry. Doesn't take a lot of force. You can kind of feel it click a little. When you get it, they should pull right out. So you just got to go through. Might need to wiggle it a little. You could hear that one. When you get them, they'll just pull out. It's pretty simple. Okay, I've just pulled the last pin out of the socket. And there's a little rubber guard that keeps, I think, keeps dirt and moisture out of there. And now you have to get this off. The pins will go through it, but they have to be facing the right direction. You have to get the crimp side facing out, and they come right out of there. Okay, the right side one is free. Now we have to do the twist grip sensor. I bought an extension for this that was factory done, I believe. I know the other end is. We'll see that when I pull it out of the bar. But I mentioned I bought a kit where I had to crimp the pins on. Well, you can buy yourself a $350 crimp tool, or you can go on eBay like I did and find one of these. I think I paid less than $20 for it. As you can see, it has several different sizes of crimps. What I did was just figured out which one I needed for what. There's two crimps on here. There's one where you strip the wire and it actually crunches down on the wire. And then the second larger crimp gets onto the insulation. It's kind of like a stress relief. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. And I think I used the smallest one, E, to crimp the wire side, and then I went a little larger, probably D, to get the stress relief crimp on it. But it's a little slower than I think the fancy ones are a one shot that does them both at the same time. But for a lot less money, for as often as I do this, that worked great. Now I'll pull this one apart just so you can see it one more time. Release those. And then you've got to get in there with a tiny needle nose, or in this case a little forceps. Yep, I got it. You just pull on those two holes and it snaps up a little and unlocks it. And again, I get out my needle. These are a little finer wires, so you want to be careful. Sometimes they get a little stubborn, and you gotta coax them in a little bit, but try a different one. See, now it's making a liar out of me. There we go, I heard that one. That should come out. Yep. The eyelet end of the needle is still pretty sharp, so be careful not to jam that into your hand. That'd be something I'd do. Stubborn. There it went. This whole side's going to be stubborn. One more. That's it. Once again, I think you need the crimp side facing outward for these to pull through this part. we go.